positive and negative slopes. Draw it on your paper before your test. Positive slopes, how do they look? How do positive slopes look? They rise to the right. Please copy this down. They rise up to the right. If the line is in this direction, it's going to have a positive slope. Negative slopes are in the opposite direction. They rise to the left. Or you could say fall to the right. So on your quiz, so looking at these two objects, we're finding the slope. We're finding the slope of this, rise over run. This is the line. Is that positive or negative? This one. It's going to have a slope that is negative. Well, if this here is 30, is that the rise or the run? Is 30 the rise or the run? 30, is it the rise or the run? Good. So rise over, what's the run? Horizontal distance. That's it. Put in those terms. What's 30, negative 30 divided by 10? Negative 3. It doesn't matter if I put 30 over negative 10. The slope is negative because it's falling to the right. Is the slope of question B, is it going to be positive or negative? Question B, is this a positive or a negative slope? It's falling. It's rising to the left. It's falling to the right. So it's negative. So first things first, slope equals negative. What's the rise? What's the run? The rise is always the vertical distance, and the run is always the horizontal distance. That's all you have to do. What is the rise over run? 32, and what's the run? 48. It's a negative slope, so we write it as a negative. Put this in lowest terms. So both of these numbers are divisible by 16. We're just simplifying it, writing it in lowest terms. What's 32 divided by 16? So the slope was negative, so you keep that negative there, and it's 2 over 3. Slope equals negative 2 over 3. Okay, so for the first example, I'm going to label this. This will be the red line, and this is the blue line. You're given the equation of the red line. What is the equation of the red line? Y equals 2x minus 3. What does the equation tell you about the line? What can you tell me? Raise your hand. What can you tell me about this line if it has an equation of y equals 2x minus 3? What does that tell you about the line? Excellent. It has a positive slope. Can you tell me what the slope is? What is it? What's the slope? 2. Okay, and we can put over 1, right? What else can you tell me about the line if that's the equation? The y-intercept is negative 3. So let's see if this is true. It's done for you already. It's graphed. Here's negative 3, right? It says the y-intercept's negative 3. And let's see, is the slope 2 over 1? Does it go up by 2 and over 1? Up by 2 and over 1, does it? Yes. Doesn't matter where you put it. Doesn't matter where you start graphing from. Okay, so I want you to figure out what's the equation of the blue line. It hits the y-axis here, right? So b is equal to 1. Good. That's the y-intercept. So we have to calculate the slope now. Pick any 2 points and count the rise over run. So let's pick this point that we already plotted, and let's do this one. Oh, I just picked any point that is easy to read. So let's count. Rise 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 over, what's the run? 2. What's the slope? 4 divided by 2? 4 divided by 2 equals 2. These two lines are parallel. What did you notice about the slopes? If the lines are parallel, they will always have the same slope because they have to rise and run by the same amount so that they are spaced apart evenly, right? Parallel lines will never touch. If they have a different slope, they're eventually going to cross. If they have the exact same slope, they're always going to be spaced apart evenly. So what's the equation of the blue line? Y equals, what's the slope? 2x plus 1. Does it matter where the y-intercept is? No. Okay, so give me an equation of a line that would also be parallel to these two lines. Anyone, give me any random equation of a line that has to be parallel to that. And think about what I just told you. Parallel lines have to have the same slope. So can someone give me an equation of a new line?
Y equals
Yep.
-4.
So Anika said y equals 2x, and then she said plus 4. Why did she pick 2x for her equation? What does that 2 represent? That represents the slope. If it's parallel to these two lines, it has to have the same slope. That's an excellent example. Can I say y equals 2x plus 1,000? Yes, it has the same slope. Give me another example. Y equals anything. 2x minus 6. Sure, that will be parallel. If they have the same slope, then they're going to be parallel. So I want you to do question B on your own right now. You're given, I'll label it like this. We're given, let's call this the blue one again, the one you have to find, and you're given the equation of the red line. So it's already done for you. You don't even have to count the rise and the run. You can look at the equation right here. The slope of the red line, the equation is y equals negative 3x plus 4. What's the slope of that line? Huh? Positive or negative? Negative 3, good. Now you need to come up with an equation of the blue line. We know that the blue line is parallel, so you don't even have to count anything. What does the equation have to start with? Y equals, it's parallel to the red line, so it has to have the same slope, so it has to be what? Y equals negative 3x, yep. And now just look at the line and figure out where does it hit the y-axis, at what point? Y equals negative 3x minus 2 because it hits the y-axis there. Can someone give me an equation of a line that would be parallel to those two lines? Anything? Martin?
Parallel?
Yep, parallel to these two lines. An equation? Excellent. Y equals negative 3x plus 7. Good question. Let's graph it. The y-intercept's 7, so I would start here. Look here, I would start at 7, and then I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, over 1. It's parallel. 1, 2, 3, over 1. It's going to be parallel. Okay, so just as a review, parallel lines have to have the same slope. So M has to be the same number. Their slope has to be the same. So let's do this together. We have to say whether or not each pairs of lines are parallel. We're going to say yes or no. So show of hands. Do they have the same slope? What number can I put in front of x? There's no number there. What's the imaginary number there?
1.
And here? So the slope of this one is negative 1, yeah, and the slope of this one is positive 1. Are these two lines going to be parallel? No, they don't have the same slope. One can't be negative and one can't be positive. They will never be parallel. Those lines will cross. B, the slope of this line is 2 and the slope of this line is, are they parallel? Yes. Question C, what is the slope of the first line? Shakila, what's the slope? The slope is 1 over 4, and what's the slope of the second line? Is 1 over 4 the same as 0.25?
Yeah.
So are these two lines parallel? Yes. The last one.
Yep.
What is the slope if the equation is y equals 0? Does it have, the slope is 0. What about this one? The slope is 0 because there's no x. So are these parallel? Yes.